Probably the most serious consequence would be from a change in the distribution of rainfall. Rainfall would be increased on the average, but its distribution would be changed, and this could have very serious consequences for agriculture, particularly in the United States.
Going to school in the mountains has its highs and its lows. There's great weather, and then there's terrible weather, and then there's just a lot of wind. A lot of the classes at this university have something to do with sustainability or conservation. As someone who grew up in Charlotte for a majority of their life, I can admit that I have never really experienced a lot that North Carolina has to offer outside of Charlotte. And going to this university here in Boone has changed my perspective on that. In one of the classes that I'm taking now, the reason that this doc is even happening, I've been tasked to make a doc surrounding climate change, climate literacy, and things of that nature. And there was only one slight problem that I had while coming into this. I didn't know a lot about climate change. I also wanted to touch on why climate change as a conversation isn't happening as much as it probably should be. Looking a bit into what many experts define as climate change and into the causes and effects, I've learned that a lot of causes come from the basic necessities of how our society operates. Manufacturing, generating power, forestation, and producing food. All of these are regarded as some of the causes of climate change. All these causes have one thing in common: greenhouse emissions. One part in particular that interested me was in a Q&A with Jolene Russell, who is the head of the Department of Geosciences at the University of Arizona. Here, Jolene suggests the best way for people to care about climate more is for them to remember something that isn't there anymore. She mentions things such as not being able to ice skate because the pond doesn't freeze anymore, and other experiences some may not be able to have because of the climate. Expanding beyond what we just learned, I decided to interview my mother and ask her a few questions regarding the climate. Have you noticed the effects climate change may have had in your life so far?
Yes, actually the effects of climate change has been very prominent over the last few years. I'm noticing even now the summers are longer, sometimes the winters are longer. We've been experiencing some crazy weather where 1 week we experienced all 4 seasons. You know, 1 minute it's cold, the next minute it's hot, then it feels like spring. Climate change has definitely been affecting our lives throughout my entire life.
Any particular reason you think climate change conversations don't happen?
I think it might be one of those subjects that may be scary for folks because a lot of times sometimes it's like, what can we do? Some of it is based in politics too. People don't want to discuss it because based on whoever's in the office, if they're not willing to do anything about it, then it's like they're going to side with whoever's in the office. If they don't want to talk about it, then of course the people don't want to talk about it. So it just kind of gets put under the rug.
Has climate change affected you or anyone in your personal life?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, like I said, we talk about the winters being longer. I mean, I'm from Buffalo, New York, and I can remember a severe storm happening in October. It snowed early, so there were still leaves on the trees at that time, and that caused a lot of severe damage around the city. Trees were falling, power lines were down. I mean, it had a huge effect in my life at that time. You know, work, school, travel, everything. And it's a continuing problem.
Ultimately, what I've realized is that the climate is changing, which is something that cannot be denied. But I also feel a sense of hope and relief, knowing at the least it's something that anyone and everyone can deep dive into to learn more about and better their understanding of how we can make our world healthier. While this is a fight that many of us may not see immediate impact on, having these conversations will always be a step in the right direction.